just posted that last video and I got a ton of awesome suggestions within like 30 minutes. First thing, I took the hive away from the location it was getting robbed at. They weren't being robbed by bees, but they were being robbed by Yellowjackets. So it was crazy. Brought them over here. There are definitely still Yellowjackets going in there. But thank you, Okie Rob, for suggesting a Yellowjacket trap. I'm going to set this up right now. And also I've decided to move all these medium frames into a deep nuc. And I'm going to take a frame of deep brood from, I'm not sure which one. I might go right with Balboa because that's the strongest hive I have that can probably miss a frame of brood. I've taken so much off of the new package in the last couple weeks. I'm going to take a frame of brood out of, I think, Balboa, put it in here, and then move these frames into here. Hopefully the Yellowjacket trap will work, take some pressure off, and then I'm just going to seal them up for a few days and just leave them tight. So that's the plan. Thank you, amazing commenters. Let's see if we can make this happen. All right, first thing, this is just a 2-liter bottle. I cut the top off the bottle, flipped it over. I'm going to put syrup in the bottom here and just set it out for Yellowjackets to go in. I made some fresh syrup, so I'm going to use the old syrup. That's just 1-to-1 sugar syrup. Just going to put this right down in front of the hive. Alright, I'm going to do this as quickly as possible. Also give me a chance to see what's going on in Balboa today. See if any flow is on. You know, this was all honey and it used to be much heavier. They've been using this honey. Almost done. Oh, there she is. She's over here. I'm going to steal this frame because there's a huge amount of brood on it that's going to hatch. But there's brood on a lot of these frames. All right, I'm going to steal this frame. I'm going to drop in a drawn frame. All right, I got my frame of Balboa bees right here, and they are so just chill. I'm not even shaking. Look at that. They're like not moving. Totally chill. So they're going to go in there, and I'm going to surround them with these frames, and I'm just going to put them in. I don't want them to just all fly away. I don't want our queen to abscond. That's a new deep hive right there with a reducer. Some of this. Can we see a queen anywhere? It'd be cool to see a queen. Out. Okay, our queen is here. Queen is in there. Okay, queen is in there. Cover. We have pollen, brood, food, a queen. Actually, she looked really chill. She was just on the frame. Everyone was just hanging out. So hopefully a frame of brood. A lot more bees in there now. I can't really spend much more time and resources on this hive. So if this works, great. If it doesn't work, I'm just gonna shake the bees, recombine, do whatever I have to do. This poor queen, you know, I don't know. All right, they got ventilation. They're ventilated on the bottom, they're ventilated on the top. They've got syrup, they've got pollen, they've got, their entrances are locked up to take the pressure off from the Yellowjackets. I'm gonna leave them for 2 days. 2 days. I'll see you then. All right, it's been about 2.5 days since I put the frame of brood in here from Balboa. There was a queen in here with a tiny little cluster, and these are 4 medium frames and 1 full deep frame of brood. I plugged both of these holes with grass, and in the last 2.5 days they have cleared the grass out of the top hole. So they can go in and out, which means the queen could theoretically go in and out, and I'm going to go in here and see if she got out. Alright, I am again fully prepared to see a dead queen in here. We will see what happened. They've totally taken all of the syrup in 2 days. I'm looking for our queen, and I'm looking for any sign of eggs. A laying queen would be pretty wicked. Full of nectar. This is where they put all the nectar in this outside frame. This was empty. So is our queen on the big brood frame, or is she dead? A lot of this is hatched out. And they have capped queen cells. They have 3 capped queen cells in 2 days, folks. It looks to me like our queen either took off or was killed, and they are making a queen. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are Balboa bees. Oh. 5. Well, I got my queen cells that I wanted. I wonder if our queen just took off. Alright, my bet is that she left, because that's what she did last time. Although, for them to make those queen cells so fast, they also could have easily killed her and then made up the queen cells. Is that my mistake? Or are these bees just, you know, being bees? Did the queen leave? Okay, so, looks like we have a nuc trying to make a queen. I'm going to go check our weirdo queenless thing over there, and then maybe we can just put these queen cells into there and merge these hives. Just do a combine and let these queen cells hatch, and then we got our hive we wanted in the beginning. So this is what I believed was a laying worker hive. I put a nuc on top of this hive, introduced the queen. That queen started laying in the nuc. There was a screen between the two. I believe I stopped the laying worker problem. They stopped laying eggs down here in the bottom. When I went to combine them with the newspaper combine, the bees on the bottom came up and killed the queen in the top. That's when I split this nuc over to there, which is the nuc you just saw, introduced the queen into that nuc, added a frame of brood from Balboa. Either the queen took off or they killed the queen. Now they're making a new queen over there. Last I checked this hive, there was no activity in the bottom. They were just bringing in pollen and nectar, but there was not a lot going on in here. So I'm going to see what's in here now. They're still acting like a hive. I mean, they're bringing in resources. Pollen is flying in the front there. Don't see eggs. These are the queen cups they started making. Trying really hard to make a queen here, but there's no eggs. No eggs, no brood. Yeah, this is a queenless hive. They are bringing in the nectar. Alright, here are my thoughts. We have a queenless hive here. They're desperately trying to make a queen out of a queen cup that they made, but I believe there are no other eggs in this hive. There's no larva, there's no capped brood, except for some brood that was left over from when there was a queen in here. So this is a queenless hive. There's probably only, 4 or 5 frames of bees in this box. I have my other nuc over there with a fresh frame of brood from Balboa and a bunch of other random bees from what was another split that I made. Very few resources, but there is a big full frame of capped brood in there, and there are 5 queen cells on that frame. So, one thing that I got a lot of advice on that I never tried with a laying worker hive was putting a queen cell into a hive. Now, I don't have a loose queen cell. Those are all made on foundation, so I'm not going to cut one out and put it in here. But what I'm going to do is try to combine that nuc with the queen cells in it with this queenless hive. All the advice that I got before was to put the queen right hive on the bottom and the queen-less hive on the top. I did that reversed last time and they wound up killing my queen. There is no queen in that hive, so they're not queen right, but there are 5 queen cells and a buttload of bees. This is just going to be a 2-high nuc with that on the bottom and these girls on the top. This hive has 5 queen cells right in here. Another thing I learned last time I did this was to make small holes in the paper, not big holes. 1, 2, 3. Just little holes. A few little holes. They'll figure out the rest. I'm gonna put my medium on top here because I have medium frames in this hive. I'm gonna try and get all these bees into this hive. Still some brood emerging on this frame. They go in. It's actually a nice honey frame right here. We'll leave them with this. Ventilation. All right, I'm going to open up this bottom here so that the bees that are in the bottom can get in and out. Right now they can't get in and out. And these bees here think this is their hive, but they're going to have to find their way up. The bees up here were in a laying worker situation at one time. I think that got stopped and they've been queenless now for about 2 weeks. So now they're up in their own hive, they got resources up there, and there were bees foraging and flying in and out of that hive, but there were no eggs or larvae up here. There was a little bit of emerging brood from a previous queen attempt. Down here we have bees from a very strong hive. Balboa's bees are in here. Really nice big frame of capped brood that is emerging. Probably a lot of pheromone smell on there, and there are 5 capped queen cells in this bottom box. The foragers coming back in here are coming from the old queenless / laying worker situation. So they're going to be coming in here looking how to get in. They're flying right to where the hole used to be, and they're going to either go up or they're going to go down. If they go down, they're going to get into this hive. Hopefully if they have a mouthful of nectar or some pollen, they're going to get let in. Or they're going to find their way up here and then go into their old hive. And then hopefully they will mix through and those queen cells will hatch. One of them will mate and we'll have a little, 2-high nuc here for the fall. And that is that. So I kind of went around in circles here with this situation, with the laying worker situation, and I don't know, I don't know. I just kept doing the things that I thought was the thing to do. You read about all these solutions and you keep trying things, and I don't think I wasted time. I definitely, wasted probably some resources for the bees. I did go through 2 queens. It was obviously not intentional, but I guess I learned a lot. I learned, I experimented, I tried things. I'm doing it on camera so you can see what I do, and maybe what I do will work, maybe it won't. We're all learning together. Now, one big hiccup that we kept having was the whole medium deep frame thing. One of the most commented things in the comments is, why don't you just standardize your frames? Just go with all deeps. I am trying to do that. I inherited a hive with medium frames. That hive I kept going for a year, and it was impossible to transition them up to deeps because they weren't growing. They were just a tiny little cluster 2 years ago, and I was just trying to nurse them into a colony. I got them to be a colony, and then it was fall, and I just left them because they didn't have any drawn deep frames. That hive turned out to be Queen Balboa. She survived her 2 winters in those medium boxes with those medium frames. This spring, I started with Queen Balboa in the medium box, and I transitioned her into deeps. So I got her into the deeps. Then we got into this weird situation where I had 2 medium frame boxes with a deep on top, and Balboa was laying in the deep. But she was completely honey bound, and those bottom boxes were completely full. There was brood, there was just tons of resources, and the top was totally honey bound. She had no place to lay. So what I did is just split the hive. I took the top deep box, that was Balboa's new hive, gave her new frames to lay into. I took that bottom box and just thought I'd make a walk-away split. Whatever happens, happens, right? Well, they made a queen. Queen didn't make it back from her mating flight, and they became queenless pretty much immediately, and then developed the laying worker situation. So that box was always sort of just an extra box. It was a walk-away split that just didn't work out. But then I just got it into my head I wanted to try and solve this problem. So here we are. Now I've got another hodgepodge FrankenHive of medium deep frames in a deep box with medium on top, and it's a nuc. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I'm working with the resources I have. All my other deep frames that are drawn are spoken for. They are in hives. I don't want to take anything out of established hives at this point. We are in the middle of our flow right now. So I'm not taking anything away from established hives. All I have left is about 20 medium frames that are fully drawn. A lot of them have resources, and I have medium boxes to work with. So I'm just going for it. This is where we are. It's not my choice. I don't want to have a medium brood boxes. Hopefully, if this hive does make it through the winter, I will do the transition again, get her into a deep box, and then just get rid of those medium brood frames for good, and just get all deep brood boxes. I've got 11 other colonies that are in deep brood boxes, and that's my only one, and it's the problem one. Give me one more season and I'll get out of this. But I'm just trying to get these bees to survive. So this is all playing out like exactly a year ago with the Balboa requeening that I tried. It was mid-September when I discovered that big queen cell that Balboa had left behind, the original Balboa had left behind, and that queen cell wound up that hive wound up requeening itself with that queen cell. Queen came back. Queen Balboa's daughter, who we've grown to know and love, populated that hive and survived a winter. And she didn't come back and start laying until the 2nd week of October. So we're still over a month. We're like a month and a half away from where we were last year. So we're in fine shape. If those queen cells work out, we're going to be all right. All we can do is wait. So I'm going to end this one here, and I will see you on the next video with more updates. And yeah, check out this goldenrod. It all just started to blossom, so we're in the flow. Thanks for watching.